Okay, let's get this ball rolling. Get this camera together. Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do this video about tips for postpartum. So, what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna be looking away because I'm doing more than one thing, and you guys know I often do that. My apologies if you find it rude. I'm trying to get this screen the way I want it. You find it rude, but this is just the life of a mommy and entrepreneur. So I'm not trying to be rude. If anything, I'm trying to help you. So just hang in there with me. And I'm a 9-month pregnant mommy, so you know, work with me here. Okay. So this video is going to be about postpartum healing and how to have an easy postpartum process. What I will start off by saying is I really feel that this postpartum, and postpartum means like after birth, after you have delivered your placenta, you've delivered your baby and you've delivered your placenta, and now you're no longer pregnant. Okay, some people think postpartum means postpartum depression. That's not what postpartum means. Postpartum means post-birth, post-labor. So this means that you've had a baby, or you've given birth to a child and a placenta. So there's a healing process that occurs after you have a baby. Like I said, no one really talks about postpartum. People talk about labor, people talk about birth, people talk about pregnancy, but no one has like a real let me back up my chair just a tad. No one has just a real candid conversation about what's gonna happen to you after you give birth. Like, no one discusses that. I think it's the most peculiar thing. And I maybe because, you know, people, you know, after you have a baby, you kind of shut down. You maybe aren't talking to people too much, and so it just doesn't get discussed. But I'm gonna tell you the real deal about postpartum and some tips. So I have a 6-year-old, for those of you who do not know that already. And when I came home from the hospital, now the nurses did tell my mom, who drove me home, that I would, you know, I may have an emotional episode, and I did. I cried when I got home, and I was very overwhelmed. I had just had a baby, y'all, and it wasn't like a cry like, oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed. It was just like, wow, like this just happened, and it's like I really hadn't had time to really process that I had just had a baby. And yeah, it was a lot for me. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I mean, of course, I mean, the buildup of the 9 months, a lot had changed, a lot had happened, and yeah, it was an overload. So that's something that is very normal, just to have some kind of emotional response. A lot of people talk about depression, postpartum depression, how that happens to a lot of women. But not even just that. I mean, when I cried, I actually was like, Mom, thank you so much for everything. Like, I was happy. But it is a lot. I mean, you just had a baby. It's overwhelming. So, in a good way, you know. And for some people, it could be in a bad way. It's a lot. It's just a very, it could be surreal, you know, especially if it's your first kid. It's your first rodeo. Like, oh my God, I just had a freaking human being that I'm responsible for. It's a lot. So, emotionally, it's a lot. A lot of people don't talk about bleeding postpartum either. That was something that I knew that happened, but I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know the details of it, of course. So you're gonna bleed quite a bit after you have a baby. Some people say, oh, well, you haven't had a period for 9 months, so just imagine how much is in there. It's not necessarily that. It's just that your uterus has grown to be right under your breastbone. Your uterus used to be the size of your fist, and then it grows to the size under your breastbone. I think it increases 1,000 times its size. So it has to shrink back down. Your uterus is a muscle, so it has to get back down to size. It has to squeeze back down. One thing that helps this tremendously and will cut your bleeding time in half or more than half is breastfeeding. When you breastfeed, when you come home, you will feel slight contractions from the baby sucking. Every time the baby sucks, you'll feel cramps and contractions because you're in the beginning, not the whole time you breastfeed, because your uterus is shrinking back down to size. It is very, I mean, yeah, so you're gonna go home with pads, and you might wear it, some Depends, and you will bleed for a few weeks. If you choose not to breastfeed, or you cannot breastfeed, you may most likely bleed longer. You may bleed your entire 6 weeks. Also with breastfeeding, you may not get a period for a while, which is for some women a benefit for them. So you know, 3 months down the line, you may bleed, you know, for that first couple weeks, and then you may not have a period for, some people say they don't get them for 9 or 10 months. As long as your baby is exclusively breastfeeding, meaning that you're not supplementing with formula or food, you'll likely not bleed. Likely doesn't mean you won't. So it's another plug for breastfeeding. Like I said, and it also makes your uterus shrink down faster. So you are bleeding when you come home. Your hormones are like, so when you're pregnant, your hormones are kind of like up here, and they literally just fall off. It's kind of like when you have, you know, PMS and you get your period. There's a sharp change in your hormones. Those changes happen when you have a baby. So your hormones will be at a really high level, and then they'll just drop off, and they'll try to stabilize themselves to where they were before. So again, that could cause the emotional response to crying or the hysteria. Some women are known to have, they call it mania. They just, you know, kind of just go everywhere. And, you know, this is why it's important to come home, is for someone to be there with you, so that they can monitor you and make sure that you're okay. Yeah, so really, postpartum, like I said, no one tells you the intensity of it, and I think that's so bizarre. My thing with postpartum, I've always never really been a big proponent of taking medicine. They told me I could take Motrin and stuff, but they gave me some narcotics. I didn't feel comfortable. Just me. This is just me and my personal thing. I didn't feel comfortable taking the narcotics when I came home. I think I took a stool softener because, again, your area down below is very, very sensitive. Pooping hurts really bad if you've had a vaginal birth. I don't know about for those women who have had C-sections. I know that they are in a lot of pain because they just had a C-section. So their recovery process is worse, you know, from a woman who's had a vaginal birth. But if you've had a vaginal birth, your entire vaginal area is extremely sore, and it's extremely sensitive. So you will want to do something called sitz bath. And a sitz bath, please look that up. I will put the description in the bottom. You kind of sit in a tub of like clean water. There's something flying around here. Clean water, and kind of flush it with the water. The nurses should show you how to do this, but I have come in contact with moms who were not given this information, so that's part of why I'm doing this video. You will want to keep that area very clean, especially if you have stitches down there. You want your stitches to heal, and you don't want to get any kind of infection, of course. I mean, who wants to get an infection? You're going to want to keep that area clean. So sitz bath, and that's SITZ. I will put that in the description box. You also would want to you're gonna wear pads, like I said, or Depends, but you want to just soothe that area as much as you can. The stool softeners are good because your first bowel movement is probably going to be painful. Your entire area down there, the perineum, the vagina, the anus, it hurts. It's sore. It's usually very swollen. And I mean, honestly, for me, like, people talk, like I said, this is really why I did this video, because people told me about labor and birth and pregnancy, and to me, none of that was a problem. It was actually all a piece of cake. Postpartum healing is the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I've had my wisdom teeth taken out. I haven't really had any major surgeries, but postpartum healing, it completely kicked my butt. It was extremely painful. I feel like I had been hit by a bus. And like I said, I don't really like taking medicine. So I didn't take the narcotics that they gave me. Maybe that's, you know, my bad. I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I was exclusively breastfeeding. Something that's synonymous. I was also a pharmacy tech during the time that I had my son. So something that's synonymous to crystal meth. I don't feel right taking that and then breastfeeding. So I'm not taking it. I did take a couple of Motrin, and like I said, I took the stool softener to make my bowel movements not as bad, but I ended up getting a hemorrhoid. And I'm sorry if this is TMI. This is just 1000% real. And it hurt really bad to go to the bathroom, and I mean number 2. It hurt really, really bad. So here are my tips to help with that whole process: the emotionalism, the pain of it all. And I'm talking about, it wasn't just, oh, my nether regions where I had a baby hurt. Like, my arms hurt, my shoulders hurt, my toes hurt, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I mean, I felt like I had been hit by a bus when I had my son. Like, and I mean, y'all don't understand. Like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. The absolute hardest thing I've ever done. One thing I will tell you to do is to make padsicles. A padsicle, you're going to take a really long maxi pad. If you're in the hospital, they're going to give you these. Take as many as you can. Or if you're doing a home birth, or you're doing a burst in a birth like I am doing this time, you're going to buy the long pads, or the Depends. What you're going to do with the pads. Now, I'm not really sure how you can do it. I keep burping. I'm so sorry, you guys. How I do it with the Depends, but I'm sure there's a way. You're going to take the pad, and you're going to put aloe vera, witch hazel, and lavender oil, if you have it, on the pad. You're going to fold the pad back up, and you're going to freeze them. Okay? I'll say, I don't know, make a week's worth. Because when you come home, I'm telling you guys, like, your vagina looks like an eggplant. The color of it, like, it's bruised. It's been through a lot. Okay? It's bruised. So you want to soothe that area as much as possible. You want to get healing as much as possible, that you can walk regular, you can feel okay. So when you put those cold pads on your nether regions, it's gonna feel good, okay? And it's gonna help with the swelling, just like if you were to, you know, get hurt anywhere else on your body. You want to put some ice on it. It's basically gonna do that. It's gonna freeze in those things that are gonna help, the witch hazel, the lavender, the aloe vera, all things that will help with the swelling and the pain. I recommend that. Also, I am going to make herbs for myself to drink when I come home to replenish my body. So your body's gone through a lot. You've just given birth, okay? Your body has gone through major, I would say major trauma. Really intense time of physically. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make some. You can make teas or tinctures. You just need to get the herbs for them. So one thing that I was told to get for breastfeeding are nettles and fenugreek, which I've taken before. And you're going to put it in a mason jar, pour some hot water over it, and you can steep it for really you can prepare these maybe the day before you go to the hospital, or in early labor. If you're, you know, able to walk around, you can make these, pour some warm water over them, and just seal the jar and let them just steep. And you can strain them when you come home from having the baby. And that will help your milk come in really good. You don't have to do this. Again, ladies, you don't have to do this. And I'm going to put an article below that is beautiful. And it talks about how to have a good postpartum period and how to have a good postpartum time. You know, and really take care of yourself. This is really about extreme self-care. You don't want to be up doing stuff because you're gonna start bleeding again. If you stop bleeding and you start doing too much, or you start bleeding again, and that's your body's trying to tell you to sit your ass down. And that's the nicest way I'm gonna put it, because you really, like, your body needs to recover. Like, you really should not have a baby and be doing stuff. You should really have people there to help you. This is why postpartum doulas are like amazing. It's wonderful to have someone there to assist you, to help you, to I mean, even if it's going to get you a pizza. No, it's not the healthiest thing to eat, but you, especially if you're breastfeeding, you need to eat, and you're going to be exhausted. Like, your body is exhausted, and then you have a baby that's crying and needs your 1000% attention, especially if you're breastfeeding, because you can't hand them off to someone else and just give them a bottle of formula. You know, you are the food, and so you also need to replenish your body because you are the food. In addition to that, the fact that you're healing. This is also why I'm not pro like tons of guests being at your house. If people are going to come over your house, in my personal opinion, they need to be coming over to help. Whether that's to wash dishes, whether that's to hold the baby so you can take a shower, whether that's preparing some more teas for you, some more herbal teas for you. I just don't think that, you know, you should have all these people at your house laughing and giggling. You should really be sleeping as much as humanly possible and trying to heal your body. Like, this is a healing period. And some people laugh at me because I'm like, oh, people aren't coming over my house, and people laugh and think that I'm trying to be funny. I'm saying that because I want to be able to heal. I want to be able to be like, yeah, I got the baby and we're coming to have a cup of coffee, and yeah, let's go have some tea. I want to be able to hang out with my friends, after I've been cleared, and me and the baby can get out of the house and go and see a family member, or go meet at a restaurant and do things like that. But if you don't take care of yourself in the healing process, I mean, this can affect your fertility, this can affect your mental health, and it can just be downright just too much, just to have all these people in your face, in your house. Oh, how is your this? And da, 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 da. Just give yourself a few weeks to just be, and to just bask in being a new mom, and to heal, and for your uterus to close, your cervix to close up, and for your uterus to shrink, and for you to just be able to just heal your body. Like, it's so important. If someone breaks their leg, no one tells them, oh, you should come out and come hang out with us and do this and do this. People respect those boundaries. I don't know why it is that when people have babies, people don't respect those boundaries. And then a lot of times with moms, especially new moms, you're so excited that you had this baby and everybody wants to see the baby that you don't even slow down and stop and say, maybe I should wait a week, maybe I should wait a few days, maybe I should wait a month, because you're so excited about this new baby, which is a beautiful thing. But it's so important to take care of yourself, because if you don't, it can affect you in so many different ways, especially emotionally, and I mean, even physically. I mean, you can go to the doctor after you have your baby for your checkup, and they can be like, what did you do? You are not even remotely healed. What have you been doing? And if you've been out with your friends at Starbucks, that could be why. You really need to take care of yourself. Like I said, the article that I'm going to put below is going to be it's a really good article. So you want to prepare herbs that are going to help replenish you. I really like alfalfa. My nose is running for some reason. I don't know why. It has a lot of chlorophyll in it. Let me see what else. And since I'm doing a natural birth, one of the things that is standard at my center that I will be delivering at is a postpartum herbal bath to help with the bleeding, to slow that down. So I recommend that. Arnica is something else that I recommend, which is a homeopathic medicine to help with the pain and the bruising. Okay. And so some herbs that we recommend for women to take after having a baby are chamomile, hibiscus, rose, lemon balm, lavender, red raspberry leaf, which is something that I recommend taking in your last stage of pregnancy as well. So like your last trimester. more so the last month. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for like herbs you can take. But there are some more suggestions in the Bear Mama Medicine article that I'm gonna post. So yeah, just really, it's just a time to take care of yourself and your baby. Like, go slow, relax, take a really good hot shower when you get home, and just I mean, take good care of yourself. And understand that postpartum is no joke. Like, it's not something you're gonna come home, you're gonna feel like yourself. I guess, you know, like I said, that no one tells you that you might feel like you got hit by a bus. You know, you might feel like you got beat up, like you've been in a boxing match. You know, I have, like I said, I've never experienced that kind of pain before in my life, ever. So I don't have anything, you know, I can't sit up here and tell you that it's gonna be a piece of cake. I'm sure that things are going to be a tad bit easier because I'm doing a lot of more homeopathic things, and like I said, I'll be taking some medicine to arnica during labor and after to help with the pain. So I recommend that wholeheartedly. But yeah, like, postpartum is no joke. Take care of yourself, ladies. If you have questions or need more tips other than the pads and the herbs, let me know. I'll answer any question. I have no problem with questions. My contact will be in the description box. But please, 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 please take care of yourself after you have a baby. And if you don't have help, it is worth it to find a postpartum doula to help you, because they'll like help clean, they'll help hold the baby for you, take a shower, and they'll prepare meals, because you're gonna be too tired to do stuff like that. And if you're breastfeeding especially, you need someone to help you, like, prepare, like, to feed you. You need to eat so that you can get your milk flowing, and to keep it flowing. So that's pretty much it. Okay, if you have more questions, let me know. But that's gonna be my postpartum video. But overall, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and understand that this is a really critical healing process. And it's not playtime. It's not fun time. You just had a baby, and that's super exciting. But take care of yourself so that you can give all of your time and attention to the baby, and so that you're not just, you know, completely just like about to die, you know, as far as like just being exhausted, you know, from exhaustion, because you will be very tired. Because like I said, you know, usually when someone gets hurt, people are waiting on them hand and foot, and that's awesome. But when you're in this state and then you have a baby that depends on you for everything, you kind of, there's no break. There's no, oh, just lay here and we'll take care of your baby for 2 weeks while you heal up. No, you're responsible for this other person's life, and you have to be on. There is no rest time, and the baby does need to be with you. They need to be on your chest. They need to be skin to skin. So yeah, that's my postpartum video. I hope that helped you guys, and I hope that, you know, you all have great postpartum experiences. Okay, thanks.